Straight ahead on 12 News, from Maple Grove to the big stage.
I'm so fortunate to be representing Minnesota.
Miss Minnesota USA gets ready for the national spotlight. Plus, a frank discussion on race that drew people together in Brooklyn Park. And taking you inside a manufacturing company for a story that may surprise students contemplating a future career. 12 News starts right now. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us. We begin with a scary situation at I-494-94 interchange in Maple Grove.
A vehicle crashed through a sound wall, ending up in someone's backyard. The State Patrol says a medical emergency Sunday morning resulted in the driver losing control of his Toyota Corolla, causing him to veer off the road. The driver was entering the I-94 eastbound ramp when the car went off the interstate. The vehicle tore through a sound wall, ran over a chain link fence, and collided with a tree in the backyard of someone's townhome. The 41-year-old male driver was taken by ambulance to North Memorial Hospital. Fortunately, he had only minor injuries.
In Rogers, police say a woman died after apparently jumping from a moving vehicle. Witnesses saw the incident happen Sunday afternoon on Brockton Lane near 147th Avenue. Police say it was likely a suicide. The woman was a passenger of a vehicle driven by her boyfriend. His truck was traveling about 50 to 55 miles an hour, and police say the woman had a history of substance abuse and mental health issues.
Brooklyn Center police are looking for a man who stole a vehicle from a car dealership and led police on a chase. The theft occurred Sunday afternoon at Luther Brookdale Chevrolet, where a man drove off with a 2013 Chrysler 300. Police followed the stolen car but had to end their pursuit on eastbound I-94 for safety reasons. Authorities later learned that the car was involved in a crash in North Minneapolis. Nobody was injured, but the man left the scene.
A Golden Valley man is charged in a Robbinsdale shooting that sent a woman to the hospital. Ralph Johnson is accused of shooting the woman in the neck last week while she was sitting on her front step. After officers searched the neighborhood, police say they found Johnson during a traffic stop. A handgun was in the car with him. Johnson is charged with second-degree assault with a dangerous weapon. The woman was reported in stable condition. Race is a subject that isn't always easy to talk about.
In Brooklyn Park, a group of city and community leaders gathered with area youth to have the important conversation about race. Delane Cleveland explains.
The energy in this room is amazing.
Saturday morning in Brooklyn Park,
race is so complex.
A collection of educators, students, and community leaders gathered for the third annual Forum on Race.
It's usually the elephant in the room, and it's difficult sometimes for us to enter into those conversations.
In a city as diverse as Brooklyn Park, those who made their way to this forum say it's an important conversation to have.
We all have our own racial identity, and to talk to each other about that is important because we think that is a positive part of the fabric of our community.
I don't just have to be a Joe Blow.
On this Saturday morning, people who might not interact with each other on a daily basis were brought together to share their beliefs and concerns.
Race is something that we all deal with, and we deal with it in every aspect of our lives.
Stereotypically.
John Warren works for the Northwest Suburban Integration School District and was one of the speakers at the event.
One of the things that I talked about when I spoke was talking to your neighbor instead of calling the police on your neighbor, of going across the street and saying, hello, my name is, how are you?
I feel like I'm still young, there's a lot ahead of me.
Getting to know your neighbor was one of the key messages at this forum, a task that seems simple in real life, but not always practiced.
It's important for various racial groups to get together and have conversations in order to build community.
This gathering may not solve all the issues surrounding race relations, but the hope is that by having the conversation, it can help teach people how to better understand one another.
We get along, but we have to know each other in order to truly get along. And not everybody is going to get along, but at least let's try.
In Brooklyn Park, Delane Cleveland, 12 News.
Meanwhile, in Brooklyn Park, there will be a city council full of new faces. 3 current city council members are not running for re-election. Peter Crema is stepping down after 8 years to run for a state representative seat. Mike Trepanier is also giving up his seat, one that he's held since 2004. And on Friday, John Jordan announced on Facebook he will not run again this fall after serving for the past 4 years. Jordan cited his fast-growing business and a need to tend to his health. And Brooklyn Park voters could also have to elect a new mayor. Jeff Lundy, whose term expires in 2018, is running for state senate in District 36.
Members of the Robbinsdale Lions Club invested some sweat equity in a park over the weekend.
I like that the fact that it is kind of hidden a little bit, it kind of maintains its oasis, and it's a real gem for the citizens and for those that are on foot and get to uncover it.
Graeser Park was built in the 1930s as a public works project. It sits just off Highway 100 and is probably best known by its beehive barbecue. It also features stone steps, walkways, and benches. On Saturday, members of the Lions Club clipped away at overgrown vegetation and picked up trash, but they say there's only so much they can do as long as the state owns it.
Actually, the ultimate goal is to make it look, make people see that there's possibilities of restoring what used to be. And because this used to be a beautiful park, a wayside park, you know, that people from out of town, out in the country could come and just have picnics.
Brunn says there are legal steps to move ownership from MnDOT to the city, and people, he says, are working on that. Well, one of Maple Grove's own is all set to compete for the title of Miss USA.
It's been a crazy ride these past 2 years. I never would have guessed I'd be representing Minnesota at Miss USA, but thank you for your love and your positivity, and hopefully I can make you guys all proud.
Maple Grove native Bridget Jacobs was crowned Miss Minnesota USA in December. On Saturday, friends, family, and supporters gathered for a send-off party before Bridget heads off to Las Vegas to compete in the Miss USA pageant. She will be scored on swimsuit, interview, and evening gown, and she says she's ready for the challenge.
I mean, I've spent 2 years of my life training for Miss USA and to represent Minnesota, and now it's just kind of time to enjoy it and show off my hard work and smile along the way.
Fox will broadcast the pageant on Sunday, June 5th. If you want to follow Bridget along on her journey, you can find her on both Twitter and Instagram. Coming up, changing the view on manufacturing, how companies are trying to attract skilled workers.
Then later in sports, Maple Grove comes on late in the girls' lacrosse matchup with Armstrong.
But first, cooler with more rain on Tuesday. We'll be right back.
When it comes to manufacturing in Minnesota, most companies are feeling good about their financial prospects this year.
That is according to an annual State of Manufacturing survey that found 90% of Minnesota manufacturing executives are confident about the financial future of their company. But there's a hitch. Companies need skilled employees, and they're concerned that they're dealing with a tired old stigma that has no place in today's manufacturing world. At this small Brooklyn Park manufacturing company, business is good, really good.
We're growing very rapidly. We're about 35% ahead of last year's sales.
Diversified Plastics is doing $15 million in sales, producing millions of parts for the automotive, water filtration, and medical device industries.
This is a medical device that we manufacture for one of our customers.
Growth in the medical device field means this company has more employees working in clean room environments to make medical parts and products for medical companies across the country. But they're running into a pipeline problem.
So they're trying to fill the pipeline, getting good, talented young kids to take over for those of us that are going to be retiring in a few years, we hope.
The stigma of the last maybe 2 generations of manufacturing environments are dirty, dingy. It's false. It's absolutely false. Advanced manufacturing facilities sometimes are cleaner than the offices out in front.
According to the latest State of Manufacturing survey, 32% of Minnesota manufacturers are worried they won't be able to find enough qualified workers to keep their companies running.
It's not only the skills, It's the number of kids that we need to entice into thinking about manufacturing as a great career.
Bob Kill, president and CEO of Enterprise Minnesota, says many manufacturing jobs provide starting salaries between $40,000 and $50,000.
Parents that have students coming out of four-year colleges in what I'd call more general degrees, they're really shocked at what these young people are coming out of our technical schools earning and probably having multiple job offers.
Back at Diversified Plastics,
it's a very good job. It pays well.
They have open jobs, and they've started training some of their own people internally in order to fill the growing need.
We're not teachers. That's not what we do best. We're manufacturers, but we found that's the only way we can get some qualified people in these positions that have been open for a while.
Those in manufacturing are also looking to mid-career professionals, veterans, and other non-traditional students to fill some of those jobs. Coming up, Jackson Middle School students witness a rare event in our solar system.
But first, Cooper and Benilde-St. Margaret's need extra innings to decide their softball battle. John Jacobson has that and more next in sports.
The Benilde-St. Margaret's baseball team enters the week tied for first place with Chanhassen in the Metro West Conference race. The Red Knights look for a season sweep of Cooper. Benilde gets on the board in the top of the first inning. It's Derek Dries. Tags a hit to left center field. Jack Whalen scores and the Red Knights go up 1-0. Cooper responds in the bottom of the inning. Garrett Deneuve base hit to center with the bases loaded, scores 2 runs. It's 2-1 Hawks after 1 inning. Benilde breaks a 2-2 tie with 4 runs in the third. Alex Houlihan singles to center to score Peyton James. The throw bounces off the mound and gets away. It's 3-2 Red Knights with more to come. Later in the third, Mitch Melquist drills it off the fence in right. And this scores another run. It's 6-2 Red Knights when all is said and done in the top of the third. Cooper comes back again. Landon Delcomb's hit takes a big bounce in right field here. They'll score a run. Delcombe will hustle into second. The Hawks get another to get within 6-4. But Benilde tacks on 4 more runs in the fourth. They go on to win over Cooper. 10-6 is the final. In softball, Benilde-St. Margaret's beat Cooper 6-1 last month. The team's second meeting of the season in Metro West Conference play went extra innings. Cooper hosting this game in the bottom of the first. Yvette Williams-Upshur with a fly ball that gets to the fence for Cooper. Bree Jones scores on the hit for a 1-0 Hawks lead. Red Knights answer in the second. Isabel Fleming with a base hit to bring home Sedona Brown, and it's 1-1. Cooper gets 2 in the bottom of the second. Maddie McGuire's hit brings home Laura Beener. The Hawks have a 3-1 lead. Benilde ties it up in the fourth. Abby Mead comes through with a 2-run single, and it's a 3-3 game. And that's the score in the 8th inning when Lily Johnson drives in Fleming for the go-ahead run for the Knights. And then Brown delivers the backbreaker. She'll crack a grand slam here. Benilde gets 6 runs in the 8th inning, and they win the game 9-3. Brooklyn Center baseball team hosted its annual 4-team round-robin tournament over the weekend. The Centaurs faced Tri-City United of Montgomery in the first round. Tri-City's Trey Krautkramer with a hit that's just fair down the line and right. Jackson Fedema and Trevor Smizek scores 2-0 in the first inning. Greg Johnson grounds a single up the middle to score Krautkramer. 3-0 Tri-City United. Down 7-0 Brooklyn Center third baseman Brandon Johnson makes a nice play. He'll get the force play at third and then throws home to catcher Travis Grangeruth to complete a double play. But in the second inning, Tri-City United continues with its hitting. Isaac Pint with a hit over third to score a pair of runs. They win 21-0 in 5 innings. The Centaurs lost to Columbia Heights Saturday. Tri-City United beat both Columbia Heights and Blake on Saturday to win the tournament. In girls lacrosse, Maple Grove's only loss of the season has come against conference-leading Champlain Park. Armstrong's girls were looking to make it 2 losses on the season for the Crimson as they hosted Maple Grove. Maple Grove's Lauren Kaufman passing here. Claire McLean goes in and scores, cutting Armstrong's lead to 4-2 in the first half. Armstrong Haley Hansen passes to Maggie Hansen, who scores, and the Falcons take a 6-4 lead into halftime. Early in the second half, the Falcons' Hannah Lundquist comes from behind the net, fires a shot in for a goal. Armstrong is up 7-4. But the rest is all Maple Grove. Tina Campa will go low with her shot here and score to make it 7-6. Kaufman gets another assist. She'll set up Campa with another one of her 4 goals, tying the game at 7-all. Emily Herdine will score the final goal of the night. She'll weave through the Falcons' defense. Maple Grove wins 9-7. They're now 7-1 on the season. They'll host Osseo Park Center on Wednesday evening. And that's a look at sports today.
All right, thanks a lot, John. We'll be right back.
Well, finally, Jackson Middle School is one of just a few schools in the country with its own observatory.
And today, students got to see a rare celestial event through a high-powered telescope. Here's reporter Sonia Goins.
Never ever look at the sun without the proper equipment. We have the proper equipment here. The filter's going to block all the nasty rays from the sun.
One by one, students in Rod Schmidt's astronomy class lined up to look through the telescope.
And you'll see that round little black disc, and that will be Mercury.
Students are watching Mercury pass between Earth and the sun.
Mercury's 35 million miles from the sun. So you get an idea how small Mercury is, but compared to those sunspots must be huge. Those are actually on the surface of the sun.
Fires from Canada made viewing challenging.
We are dealing with a little bit of haze. That extra haze is blocking the light to the sun.
This is what it looks like through the telescope. Mercury is the tiny black dot you see sailing across the sun.
It wouldn't seem very impressive. It's just a black dot going across the sun. But if you really think about it, it's pretty amazing to see that there is something else out there.
For this to happen, the sun, Earth, and Mercury all have to line up. It's so rare that Mercury Transit only occurs about 13 times a century.
I think it's pretty amazing that I was able to come down and see it through the amazing telescope that we have here at our school.
I am really fascinated with space and the solar system, so I find that very interesting.
We will be observing the transit from the National Solar Observatory, or NSO, in Sunspot, New Mexico.
NASA scientists are watching the celestial event through a space telescope.
Here's the telescope itself floating in space. It's got a solar array to provide it power.
Scientists will watch what happens to the sunlight as Mercury passes by.
If sunlight's passing through this atmosphere, we'll be able to see the chemical composition of what's in its atmosphere.
Scientists have used transits to discover planets and stars.
20 years ago, this is all we knew about right here. 50, 60, 70 stars. Now, we've got over 4,000.
And there's even hope they'll make an out-of-this-world discovery.
Yeah, possibilities of life? Pretty cool.
In Champlin, Sonia Goins, 12 News.
The Mercury Transit event took about 7.5 hours to complete. The next time this will happen is November 11th, 2019. So just a couple of years, but then after that, not till 2032. So mark 2019.
On average, 13 times a century. That is pretty cool.
It is. That does it for us. Thanks so much for joining us.
And we'll see you again back here Tuesday, starting at 4.